Okay, hello again. So I'm just going to go through the trades I took this week and the trades I closed this week. But before I do that, I'm going to start by going through a quick review of some of the major indexes and market indicators that I've been using. So this week, starting on January 18th, January 19th, it was a shorter trading week. We basically just popped above this long-term trend line, which should be bullish, but right now it's sort of going nowhere. There was no real impulsive buying into that market when we did break out. So we're sort of in almost in no man's land right now, where we could continue to do a retest and then break out, or we could break back into this range and probably see some downside. We do have negative divergence on this chart, so with this new latest high, so that's something to watch out for. All right, on the NASDAQ, it looks like to me that we broke out of this trend channel that we've been trading in, and the breakout was a little bit more impulsive, although the buying volume wasn't really there. It was sort of an average buying day. So this is another one where I would say this isn't really a confirmed breakout. It could easily break back into this trend channel. If this was the high here on January 21st, then we do have negative divergence still intact. We didn't break through or burn through that. All right, dollar index, we did break out, but this again isn't really an impulsive breakout. We have basically been wandering down since the beginning of the week, and we may be going to do a back test of this trend channel, or we may break back into it. So really all these indicators are saying I'm not really sure what to expect next week. Okay, on gold, we have also been in sort of no man's land this week, where we're trading between the range of this multi-month trend channel. We have been wandering up for most of the week, but then today we broke down a little bit and are seeing sort of a retracement of that upward movement we saw earlier in the week. It's not clear to me what's going to happen. Basically the way I'm looking at this is if we break above trend, then that's a buy signal. If we break down, that's also a buy signal. That's sort of how I'm playing it. My hope is that we break down, and that gives a good last long-term buying opportunity for the metals. But if we break out, I don't think we're going to see more downside. That's how I'm looking at this right now. All right, now looking at the volatility index, we've been really going nowhere this week. There's not really a lot to say. We had been trading in this range, but now I think it's sort of confirmed that we're out of this trend channel, and now we're just trading in this. I guess this is now just support that maybe we're trying to break through it to go down, which would mean the market is in a strong uptrend again. If we do go down in the VIX, if we have a major upturn in the VIX, then well, you'll see lower prices in the market, probably a correction. Okay, so now I'm getting into some of the stocks I have been trading this week, and starting with American Airlines. So last week I took a long trade at the breakout of this consolidation pattern, this what looked to be a bull flag pattern. Now we did have a couple initial strong days, but that momentum fizzled out, and well, I decided to cover part of my position on the 19th. I'm still holding half of the position, but I don't expect this breakout to continue. It could still continue. This could be another sort of consolidation pattern before the real breakout happens. But if you go to the hourly chart, you can't really tell what this consolidation pattern is doing. Let's just hide this. Yeah, it's not the cleanest consolidation pattern. It could be consolidating for another breakout though. Okay, AMD is a stock I've been watching for a while, on and off, but I noticed towards, I guess, last week that there was a breakdown out of this this rising wedge pattern, but I missed the trade, so it went up and did a back test today, and that's when I went short on this. So I'm expecting movement down to probably the 774.50 level. It could continue to consolidate in this range, but a little bit longer term, this is where I'm looking to cover. All right, CRWD. This week, it broke out of trend, this trend, I guess, line that I've been watching with the bearish divergence. And I took a starter position at, I guess, 220.96. And the next day I added to that position because it basically retested the trend line. So I'm in 3 shares short on this stock, looking for a move down to about the 155 level. If we do see this move down, then the move should be pretty impulsive. Okay, so last week I had covered this long position on Etsy. This week looked like a good short position entry. We had basically a retest of trend, and that would have been on the 19th that I got short on this. So the 19th, right about here, I entered short, and so far the stock's sort of been just drifting downwards. So it may not be ready to fully break down. If it goes to do another back test, I may be stay in the stock, or it might get stopped out and have to enter this short again later. Okay, FedEx is something I've been short on for a while. I added to my I added to my short position about right here where it retested this support level or this resistance level, and my expectation was that it would continue to fall after that. However, instead we've been consolidating. So let's see, on the 20th, which would have been 2 days ago, I covered half of my position. And so the last 4 shares that I'm holding basically am either going to get stopped out or am going to have it go to my profit target, which is down around either here or here, one of those 2 areas. Okay, GRWG, I entered this short on the 21st, so that was yesterday, as it was breaking down out of this, I guess, multi-month rising wedge pattern that it had been in. So my expectation is that it's going to make its way down to this profit target of around the $21 level. Okay, Livent Corporation, LTHM. This is another stock that broke out of the rising wedge pattern, and well, today is when it triggered my short entry, and it recovered mostly. So we'll see if this continues to consolidate and then break down, or if it breaks back into the trend. Now we have a I guess, a hammer pattern or a hammer candlestick today, which isn't great for being in a short position, but this is the way my short was set up, was I would enter automatically when it hit that level. So we'll see what happens next week. Macy's, I entered short on the 19th, which would have been Tuesday, as it was breaking down out of trend here. And today it looks like it's making a rebound. So we're going to see if, I guess it bounced off of this trend line. So we'll see how well this trend line holds. If it just did a bounce and it's going to consolidate and go up again, or if it continues, if it breaks below this support level and hits my profit target. This is what I'm pretty iffy about. I wonder if I should have waited until a break below this level to enter my short position. But if I did that, well, I don't think I would have had a good risk to reward ratio. So probably, maybe I should have waited on this trade and not taken it at all. Okay, so Nike broke below support, or broke out of this rising wedge pattern, and then it retested support on, I guess, the 20th, and that's when I went short on this. I got an entry of about 142, well, 142.71, and so since then it did another retest, and now it's breaking down. So I think this trade is actually going to play out. There's not really any good support levels. Maybe it'll bounce here, but I think it's going to make its way to my profit target. Okay, Overstock is one that I've been a little bit indecisive about this week. When it was chopping around and the market looked, I guess, especially bearish, I decided to cover 2 shares of my position for like a $4 loss. But then I decided to open it back up again on the 21st, which was yesterday, Thursday. I think I got a good entry at 60.50. So now it looks like this trade is playing out. To continue this breakout, we had a nice up day today. So I'm looking at this continuing to play out in a general upwards trend, hopefully to hit my profit target of around $115. I don't think this is too ambitious because, well, if this is a flag pattern, then it's not really clear to me where the breakout area was. Probably, most likely it was around here. But if we cover up here, I think that's a fairly conservative area to cover because it's before the bag holders are going to want to step in and basically exit their positions. And it'll be a nice move up. Okay, Palantir is another long position I took. Now, this is a fairly recent IPO. It made a run up, consolidated, and I had an entry point right here looking for an impulsive breakout, which is what we got here today. And so I'm looking for a continuation of that breakout all the way up to this 81.55 level. And how I got that was I set this, we basically had a 215% run up since the IPO into the consolidation. So another 200% or 215% would be up here. And so just below that is where I put my profit target. So we'll see how that plays out. Okay, so Peloton is a stock I'm short on. I entered a short position on the 19th after this gap down. Now this chart is sort of a mess and I haven't had a really good read on it, so I'm going to go ahead and clean it up after this. but I'm going to show you what I did basically, or what my idea was. Basically, this was the trend line I was looking at. If it broke below, I'm looking for a short all the way down to about this $100 level. You can see we had negative divergence all the way up until the most recent high. And a break below that I thought was an objective area to go short. Now it looks like we're going to probably run a back test and then maybe continue downwards. We'll see. Okay, so I've been recharting this this ticker out, and I'm not seeing any very good trend lines. I'm not sure which trend line I like the most. There's 3 possible trend lines that I drew out. One is extending all the way back here since the March low, and that shows we're still in trend. One is a little bit shorter term. That shows we jumped out of trend and basically are back in trend now. And the third one would say that, well, we jumped out of trend and we're doing a retest. So I would say we're kind of in no man's land in terms of what the ideal position, long versus short, would be for this stock. I don't think we have a great short signal yet. This signal that I used to enter the stock was, I guess, a false breakdown signal. So really at this point, I'm just going to continue and hold on to my short position until I get stopped out. Maybe if I do get stopped out, then the next short entry will probably be either a back test or an impulsive breakdown. I would say an impulsive breakdown because I'm not actually sure if we're within a trend channel or not. Okay, so this next one I entered this week is Ruger. I entered this as a long position. Basically, last couple weeks, this has been consolidating. It broke out, and it turns out that was a false breakout. So I entered right here, assuming that it was not a false breakout, but just a retest of the trend line. So I got a good entry there. I think I like this trade because it's got a very good risk to reward ratio. Basically, you can see we've really run up quite a large amount. We've run up about 50% since March, assuming that was the breakout area. And if this bounces and actually, continues the breakout, then it should be a pretty good trade. Otherwise, I'll get stopped out in a couple days when it breaks down. Okay, Snap. This one's been incredibly frustrating for me so far. Well, I got stopped out again on the 21st when this thing gapped up. So yeah, I went short here, I think, yeah, the 14th, when it looked like it was having an impulsive breakdown. But I think I went short a little prematurely because it just went back to the bottom of this trend channel and then consolidated for a few days and then, gapped up to the top. So I got a significant, it was basically my stop. My risk tolerance was triggered there or reached there. I set my risk to $50. I got stopped out for a $51 loss. Not a terrible thing, but just another, that's 3 times in a row I have lost this trade on this ticker. Okay, Sohu is a ticker that hit my initial profit target and then now, well, actually, I don't know if it ever hit my first profit target, but, went to lows, consolidated, rebounded, and now it looks like it may be breaking out. I took a short right here, I think on the 21st. Yeah, or well, I guess the 20th is when I took a short position. I had my short entry down here. The stock, reached down, tagged that entry so that I entered short, and then basically this thing has gone sideways and then looks like it may be breaking out. So I'm right at my stop level. So if this ticker goes up any more on Monday, then I'll be stopped out. Otherwise, if it, turns around and goes back down, which I think is unlikely at this point, then I'll reach my profit target. Webbuilt, I entered this trade short, anticipating the bounce off of support here or resistance here, and this resistance level kind of goes back. It's a historical resistance level. So far, it looks like this trade has started to play out, although today was a big, up day. So this is something where I just have to hold the position and see. I think it will continue to play out in my favor, but I'll just take it day by day. Okay, Zillow Group, I took a short position on the 15th when, this should be short, not long. I took a short position on the 15th at right about here. It looked like it was breaking down. I'm not sure why I took a short here rather than waiting until confirmation, but that's what I did, and then I got stopped out on the 19th when, I guess, yeah, basically Monday, big up day, stopped me out, and I'll probably re-enter this trade short if it has another breakdown signal or a true breakdown signal. I want to start waiting for confirmation more in my trades. Okay, so that's my trades for the week. You can see here my P&L for each week ending with these dates. So for this week, ending in January 23rd, I guess I have a net loss of $57 for all of the positions I have closed this week. Not a great week, not a terrible week, just sort of a nothing week is what I would say. And yeah, really, the market's been grinding sideways. I've been grinding sideways, taking some trades too soon, getting stopped out, and basically it's a chop. I would say the big takeaway for this week is that it's the same takeaway from last week. Waiting for confirmation is important, making sure the position entries are good. And my biggest winners have been long positions so far. So the market's still in an uptrend. I mean, I don't think I've closed any long positions this week, but we'll see next week how those positions play out, assuming I do some position closes. But, I take a position on a few tickers, a few long positions, and they seem to be, impulsively moving higher. So really what that says is the market's still in an uptrend, and it's probably most important to be patient on the short trades. I'm still short biased on this market. I think that we're likely to see a correction soon. I don't see any market signals stating otherwise. We've had small breakouts in the indices, but they haven't been impulsive breakouts. We've got a strengthening dollar. So really, I would say this is still a time to be cautious about going long and, cautious about going short too, but ready to go short when the opportunity comes. All right, well, that's it for this week. I'll see you guys next time.